Hello everyone, my name is Aleksandr Kolchanov and I will have the last talk for today. And today I will tell about attacks on web installers, like installers on some popular content management systems. And some words about me. I'm a security researcher, bug bounty hunter, and a AppSec engineer right now. But also in past, I created a lot of websites for my hobby projects, so I worked a lot with content management systems like Joomla, WordPress, or something like this. And also, a few years ago, c0c0n was my first international conference, so I'm very happy to be here again. And let's talk. What is web installer? Web-based installer is a component of some content management systems, some corporate systems, and even some open source project that allows for user to install the system, create some administrator account, and do some first things after installations. So it is created to make this process more comfortable for people, because it is more easy to use a web interface instead of using command line interfaces or something like this. And I didn't invent attacks on web installers. It is very well-known attacks. For example, in some documents, like in documents for OneCloud, developers told that we should be aware of this type of attacks. But during these talks, I will tell how we can make this more and more dangerous. So we have a diagram that shows the typical installation process. The user downloads the installation package from the website, then he can upload it to the server, and in some cases he can prepare some additional things like databases or something like this, and in some cases it is not required, so it is optional step. And then the user can use web-based interface. Usually you should just go to your domain /admin or /install or something like this. And you can install your system. And the system is ready. You created an account with administrator's permissions, and you can use your system. And of course, we have a lot of problems on every stage. For example, on the first stage, we have a common problem with old versions of the systems, vulnerable versions, and supply chain attacks. Then we have some problems with insecure access to the server, some insecure configuration of the servers, and something like this. Also, we have problems with weak passwords, insecure configuration of components like databases, etc. And of course, we have typical web vulnerabilities in the installer, because the installer is a web application, so it can contain some SQL injection, some remote code execution, and something like this. And we have a specific type of problem, is attack on the installation process, which we will discuss today. And of course, we will have some web vulnerabilities already in the system after installation. And I started this research after reading the documentation of one system. I read that if you bought a very expensive system in one cloud management platform, they will create a server, and you should visit this server and got the web interface with a well-known password, admin and admin pass, and you can use it to sign in. Of course, you will be asked to change this password, but it means that if I can find the system very fast, I can sign in first and get the full access to the system. And we have several important questions. Firstly, can an attacker find the installer enough fast to be the first person and gain access? Then, can he gain access to the system and do something interesting? And maybe an attacker can hide himself. And in this case, can we find an attacker? And can we protect our systems with very simple methods? So let's discuss. Firstly, an attacker can find the system very fast because there are some tools for mass scanning the internet. There are some interesting Google Docs. And sometimes you have special technical subdomains for big hosting providers, which allows you to get all the list of services of servers created by this provider. And I put some examples. In the first example, one person just created a new installation of MongoDB server and got hacked in 7 minutes. And somebody encrypted his empty database, but it means that it is really easy to find a new installed system. Okay, the next question. If an attacker can find the system, maybe he can do something very bad? Yes, because in a lot of popular content management systems like WordPress, Joomla, or in some enterprise solutions, an attacker can, for example, upload a component which allow you to run PHP code, and you will have something like remote code execution on the server. Also, an attacker can steal any data from the server because he can execute any code, he can steal anything. And he can get the credentials for other systems. But how an attacker can gain access to the admin panel? So, firstly, we shouldn't forget about classical web vulnerabilities, because if we have a very vulnerable system, it is not so important to have a protected installation process. Then, an attacker should find the system which is not installed yet. He can do it by mass scanning, by Google Dorking, or by some interesting methods. And if he found the not installed system, for example, WordPress, he can install it by himself and got the admin privileges on the system, and then upload some code and execute the scripts. So he can get the privileges on the server. But in a lot of cases, we have two problems. If the system is not installed, there are no data, because nobody will put client's data, for example, to the empty server. And if the system is in use, it means that the system is installed, and an attacker cannot attack the installer. And this is the reason why I thought that it is not so dangerous attack, because yes, in some cases you can steal the data from the server. For example, if a company use one server for different projects, or in some cases you can use it to gain access to the internal network and scan some other services, for example. But I found a very interesting idea that allows to make this attack more and more dangerous. Because if an attacker can install the system and he will get right to execute the code on the system, he can put a web shell to the system and then delete the system and put the installer back. And it means that from the user's point of view, he will have the same situation. He will have the system with installer available. And we have two variants. An attacker can upload infected installation package, and the victim will install it later. It means that you will have infected backups, you will have infected golden images, because sometimes a company creates one golden installation of the system, for example, one installation of WordPress, and use it for all other clients, for all other sites. and you will have some malicious activity from the admin, because the admin installed the system and it looks like he runs some strange activities. And you will have your data stolen. And in this case, integrity checks can help you, because you can detect that you uploaded one solution, but you got another installer on the web server. But of course, you should use these checks correctly, because if there are integrated integrity checks in the system, of course, an attacker will change it, and they will show that everything is fine. But we have another variant of attack when an attacker clear installation package and uploaded clean installer to the victim system and put web shell in other location, or maybe create a system user or something like this. And it means that the clean installer will pass all integrity checks. Victim can delete it and upload, for example, new version again and still have infected system. And it is very hard for a lot of company to find how the server was infected. And this is the reason why I call it pre-installation attack. Because an attacker can get an access to the server. The system is not installed yet by the point of view of user. And when the system will be installed, an attacker can gain access to all data, and the victim may delete and install the system again. He may use properly configured web server. He can use new, absolutely updated web application, but he will lose the data and the system will be compromised. And the most important part I would like to tell that it is not a vulnerability in content management systems, because it is a problem in the installation process. And you should firstly use some firewalls or something like this to prevent an access to the admin panels to any privileged interfaces from the public networks. And you should also firstly apply all network rules, and only after applying you can upload something to the web server. And all golden images should be created in isolated local networks, not on publicly available web servers. And of course, it is a very good idea to have integrity check, maybe to integrate the integrity check into a pipeline. And it is a very good idea to have some compliance standards for the web servers, because you can find some unusual accounts created by an attacker. And in some cases, but it is a questionable idea by some reasons, it is maybe better to deploy already configured application instead of uploading the installer and install the system on the production environment. And you should also consider that an attacker not always able to delete the system. Sometimes he don't have enough privileges, but he can try to do something else. For example, he can try to find some remote code execution vulnerabilities or some command execution vulnerabilities which require admin privileges. In a lot of cases, people think that it is a bit stupid vulnerability because you already have administrator permissions, but it can be very useful in this case. Sometimes you can create a new account and rename it to the default name of the user and change the password to the default password. And from the user's point of view, it will be looks like he just visited a new created website and used the administrator account with default password. And in some cases, an attacker can hide his account and have hidden access to the system. And sometimes you can find that your systems have more than one web interface, and you should always consider it. And sometimes you can meet with specific issues for your system. It is very hard to explain all variants because there are more than 100 different web installers. So thank you very much for attention. I will be ready to answer for your questions. Thank you very much.